In this module, we will study about operators in quantum mechanics. Operators play a very important role in quantum mechanics. Now, the first question arises, what are these operators? How do we write them? And then, what are their properties? These are some of the things which we will be studying in this module. Let's first come to the definition of an operator. How do we define an operator? An operator is basically a mathematical command that tells you what to do on what follows. For example, if we write df by dx, now we are taking differential of f with respect to x. Here d by dx is the operator which is operating on f. In quantum mechanics, there is an operator corresponding to every measurable property or an observable. So this is the basic thing in quantum mechanics. And please remember, operators must always precede the function on which it acts. For example, if we say a cap f, a cap is basically an operator. So operators are always denoted by a cap on them. So a cap f means that a is an operator which is operating on the function f. Later on we will see that the fundamental equation of quantum mechanics is h cap psi is equal to E psi. Here, as you can see, h cap is an operator which we call as Hamiltonian. This is the total energy operator. That means it is an operator which corresponds to the total energy E. So here h cap operates on psi and then gives us total energy E multiplied by psi. So that's the fundamental equation of quantum mechanics. Now the question comes, how do we write operators for an observable? First of all, we must understand that in quantum mechanics, there are certain fundamental operators which one will need to remember. These fundamental operators, as you can see here in this table, are position operators. Those could be x or y or z, and they are correspondingly written as x cap, which would basically mean multiplying by x. Y cap would mean multiplying by y, and z cap would mean multiplying by z. So these are position operators. Similarly, we have linear momentum operators. These are also the fundamental operators. Now, linear momentum in the x direction, px, which is denoted by px cap, this is given by iota h cross del by del x with a minus sign. So this is the position operator in the x direction. Similarly, py is py cap equals minus iota h cross del by del y. H cross stands for h upon 2 pi, that you need to remember, and similarly for pz. Now question comes, what are the rules for writing operators corresponding to any observable? So we will now, by giving certain examples, explain these rules. First is, whenever you have to write a quantum mechanical operator corresponding to an observable, first thing you do is write the classical expression for the property under consideration. So first is you write that expression, and then second is, in that expression, wherever possible, substitute for quantum mechanical fundamental operators, and then we will have the corresponding quantum mechanical operator. Let's illustrate this by giving certain examples. Suppose we want to write kinetic energy operator along x direction. Now we will denote it by T cap. and kinetic energy operator will be in x direction Tx. Now if we have to write out, first we will write classical expression. Classical expression would be half mvx square, where you can see Vx is the velocity along x direction. Now this expression can also be written in the form of linear momentum, and it becomes kinetic energy is equal to px square by 2m. So this is the classical expression. Now in this classical expression, we apply second rule, and that is we write for the fundamental operators. So we have already learned that px is the linear momentum operator in x direction. So we substitute its value in the expression. And as you can see, once we do that, we get the corresponding Tx, which is the kinetic energy operator along x direction, equal to minus h square upon 8 pi square m d2 by dx2. Similarly, by similar argument, one can write kinetic energy operator in the y direction, which will be Ty cap, and also Tz cap, which will be the kinetic energy operator in the z direction. And if the particle is moving in the space, then the total kinetic energy would be the sum of these three operators, and that will give us the total kinetic energy operator. Now suppose, let's take another example. Suppose we have to write the quantum mechanical operator for potential energy. Now potential energy, as you all know, depends on the distance, as it is the energy possessed by a system by virtue of its position. So first rule is we write the classical expression. The classical expression which we have written here, this is the potential energy of an electron in an hydrogen atom, and we are assuming that electron is at a distance r from the nucleus. So its classical expression is potential energy is equal to minus E square upon 4 pi epsilon 0 r, where r is the distance between the electron and the nucleus. After having written the classical expression, we can now substitute for fundamental quantum mechanical operator for the position. That is, we can substitute for r, and therefore it will become V cap, which is the potential energy operator, equals to minus E square upon 4 pi epsilon 0 r cap, where r cap is the position operator. Now later on we will study that if we have to write down the potential energy for a linear harmonic oscillator. In the case of linear harmonic oscillator, potential energy is given by half kf x square. Here we are assuming that the oscillator is oscillating along x direction, and here kf is the force constant. Now if we have to write the quantum mechanical operator for this potential energy, which is V cap, that will become half kf x cap square. So for x we will write x cap square, and that becomes the potential energy operator for the linear harmonic oscillator. Now we will discuss about angular momentum operators. These are very important operators in quantum mechanics. So how do we write quantum mechanical operators for these angular momentum? As you all know that angular momentum classical expression is given by the equation L is equal to R into P. There is a arrow at the top. This indicates that these are vector quantities. So this is the corresponding classical expression. Now R is the particle's position and P which is equal to mass into velocity, is the linear momentum, and here L refers to angular momentum, which is expressed as a cross product of particles' position and its linear momentum. You must have read already about cross products and dot products in vector analysis. Since angular momentum, position and linear momentum all are vector quantities, therefore these can be written in Cartesian coordinates by the expression L will be equal to Lx I plus Ly j plus Lz k, where I, j and k are unit vectors. Similarly, one can express position r in terms of x, y and z, and linear momentum p in terms of px, py and pz using unit vectors. Once these have been written, then one can say that the total angular momentum, which is the cross product of these two, L can be written as Lx I plus Lyj plus Lzk. That means we are writing the three components of angular momentum Lx, Ly and Lz in terms of unit vectors, and on the right hand side we have the corresponding expression for the cross multiplication of P and R. Now, if this expression is opened, then ultimately we will get that Lx will be given by ypz minus zpy, and Ly, which is the angular momentum operator in y direction, that will be given by zpx minus xpz, and Lz will be given by xpy minus ypx. So these are the three components of angular momentum which we get. Now these are the classical expressions. Now if we have to write the corresponding quantum mechanical operators, then Lx cap. Now here Lx cap is the quantum mechanical operator for x component of angular momentum, and that will be equal to y cap pz cap minus z cap py cap. And similarly we have expressions for Ly and Lz. And as you have already learned, we can express px and py in terms of quantum mechanical operators. We have already seen their expressions. If we substitute those values, we get Lx cap equals minus iota h cross y del by del z minus z del by del y. And similarly, we have expressions for Ly cap and Lz cap. So these are the quantum mechanical operators for the three components of angular momentum, Lx, Ly and Lz. So now we have already discussed what are quantum mechanical operators, how they are written. The basic rules are write their classical expression and then the substitute appropriate fundamental operators which we discussed. Having done all that, now we come to the next part, and that is the properties of quantum mechanical operators. Please remember, as we have already mentioned, that every observable has a corresponding quantum mechanical operator, and all quantum mechanical operators are linear. Suppose there is an operator A cap. When we say that it is linear, it means that when it operates on two functions f and g, it gives you a cap f plus a cap g. So that is the meaning of linearity. For example, d by dx is a linear operator. When it operates on, say, two function x square plus sine x, as you can see here, it gives us the results which is d by dx of x square plus d by dx of sine x. That's basically the property of linearity. Third thing which is to be remembered is that in the context of quantum mechanical operators, order of quantum mechanical operators is very, very important. For example, A cap, B cap, F may not be always equal to B cap, A cap, F. So order becomes very important. When we say A cap, B cap, F, then first B cap operates on F, and then the result comes, and then on that A cap operates. If A cap, B cap, F is equal to B cap, A cap, F, then we say that the two operators commute with each other. This is very, very important thing in quantum mechanics. That means A cap, B cap, F minus B cap, A cap, F is equal to 0 are the two operators which commute. We denote them in this parenthesis A cap dot A cap comma B cap parenthesis closed is equal to 0. This is called the commutator of the two operators. One may ask the question that if the two operators commute, what does it mean? Because as we mentioned it earlier, that each operator corresponds to an observable. So if the two operators commute, that means the two observables which those two operators represent, then the values of those two operators can be simultaneously and exactly determined. This is a very, very important thing. For example, let's look at two operators, x cap, which is the position operator, and px cap, which is the linear momentum operator in x direction. So whether it will commute or not, as we can see in this problem, we are operating it on a function fx, and we notice that ultimately this does not commute, because ultimately we get an expression which is not equal to 0. Therefore, we can say that the operators x cap and px do not commute. That means you cannot simultaneously and exactly determine the position and the momentum of the particle in x direction. And this you know already corresponds to Heisenberg uncertainty principle. On the other hand, if we take the operators x cap and py, that means the linear momentum along y direction, then you can see here when this operates on an operator fxy, then the ultimate expression is 0. That means these two operators commute with each other. And what does it imply? It implies that position in x direction and the linear momentum in y direction, they can be exactly and simultaneously determined. Whereas earlier we saw position in x direction and linear momentum in x direction, they cannot be determined. So these are very, very important things, and as we will see in subsequent modules, these play very important role in quantum mechanics. Let's now discuss one more important property of quantum mechanical operator, and that is that the values of the quantum mechanical operators will always be real, and therefore we will say that all quantum mechanical operators are Hermitian. That means the corresponding values which we get for those operators, they will always be real. This looks natural, because if a quantum mechanical operator corresponds to an observable, it cannot have imaginary value. So it looks quite obvious. Hermitian operators are the operators which will always give real values. For example, if there is an equation A cap psi gives you A psi, then small a is the value corresponding to the operator A cap, which is a real in quantum mechanics. Now we see in this equation A cap psi is equal to A psi, where A is the real. Now if we multiply the equation by psi star and integrate, we get equation. Now if on the other hand we take the complex conjugate of the equation a cap psi is equal to a psi, we get this equation. And again if we multiply by psi and then integrate, we get this. And here also ultimately the value comes to be a. It means that the integral psi star a cap psi d tau is equal to integral psi a cap psi star d tau. So this is an important property of Hermitian operators, and any operator that satisfies this equation is called Hermitian operator. So in this module, we have studied today what are operators. We said that an operator is a mathematical command that tells you what to do on what follows. And then we also mentioned that in quantum mechanics, there is an operator corresponding to every observable or a measurable property. It's always the operator which operates on a function. Therefore, it must always precede the function. Then we also discussed some fundamental operators. We gave a full table about position operators and linear momentum operators. And then using those operators, we calculated the values of potential energy operator, kinetic energy operator, and angular momentum operators. And lastly, we also saw some very important properties of the operators. And these was that there is an operator corresponding to every measurable quantity in quantum mechanics. Secondly, all quantum mechanical operators are linear. And then the order of quantum mechanical operators is very important, and that the value which they represent will always be real. That means quantum mechanical operators are always Hermitian. We also studied in this module that there is one important quantity which we talked about, and that is the commutator of two operators. If the two operators commute, it means that the two properties which those two operators represent, those properties can be simultaneously and exactly determined. On the other hand, if they do not commute, then those values or those quantities cannot be exactly and simultaneously determined. So all these are very, very important and fundamental things in quantum mechanics, and we will be using them many times in our modules later on.